All right, long time no see, YouTube. So got a little bit of an update for you guys. It's been close, oddly enough, about 2 months since I did my last video, which was the Battle of Strasbourg / Historicon wrap up post video. So I did some painting in the last 2 months, not a whole lot. What you can see in front of you is what I worked on in August and September. So as you guys know, I was painting like a crazy son of a bitch for about 9 months, getting ready for the big Historicon battle. Did get a little burnt out there towards the end. So the unit in front of you was the last stretch goal that I had for the project, which was a band of like Gothic Saxon noble type guys that I wanted to potentially bring if I had enough time and energy to paint them. I didn't. So they, I got them primed and that was about it. So I started painting on them probably early August. I was very, very slow. My motivation was very low, but they're fully painted now. Just need to base them. Shields are all done. Everything like that's good to go. So it's 48 miniatures. The majority are gripping beasts from their Germanic, Gothic, Saxon lines. And then there's 8 Crusader guys in there as well. So all metal, but a good variety of poses. We got some character figures in there that I can zoom into here. But yeah, it took me a little while to paint these. I don't feel like, now that the Historicon battle itself is done, I don't feel like the project is in a complete state. I actually still want to spend the rest of the year and possibly part of next year painting more for the 2 armies. So I want to really work on the Germans first. And the goal for the Germanics, I had 3 48-man war bands. And then I had 16 skirmishers and then some heroes and casualties and 1 command stand. That's what I brought to Historicon. I want to do, and it was all early Germanics, and by what I mean by early Germanics is like Teutoburg Forest area. They were mostly from the Foundry line with some gripping beasts sprinkled in, but they were definitely more orientated towards the earlier Imperial period. Not to say they didn't work fine in the later Roman period too, but that's just the look they have. Like some of the figures have captured Coolus and Montefortino helmets on. Like it's supposed to be from that 1st century BC to 2nd century AD time period. So I used them because I love the figures and they were a joy to paint, but these guys are actually more representative of Gothic Saxon type guys. These guys are all in various armors. There's some scale, there's some lamellar, a lot of chainmail. They have a lot of those closed face suit and hoe type helmets on. So those are from the Saxon figures. There might be a few Vikings in there. But yeah, so definitely more of the later feel. And what I want to do is I want the German force to represent both. So what I'm going to do is I want 4 war bands that look early Germanic, plus associated skirmishers, plus 24 cavalry figures that look early. And I already have another metal war band for the early German force and the 24 cavalry figures. Those are already collected and ready to go. And then I want to do a later Gothic Saxon force that's going to have 3 48-man war bands, and then 24 cavalry, and then 16 to 48 skirmishers somewhere in there. So obviously this is the first quote-unquote unit of the Saxon Gothic part of the Germanic army. So I'll have to paint the other 2, plus 48 cavalry. You're looking at, plus the skirmishers, you're looking at 200 more miniatures overall. So, about 100 more for the early and about 150 more for the lates. So I really want to work on it. I'm not burnt out from painting late Romans and Germanics. I love painting ancients, so that's not a problem. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan for the Germanic armies going forward. And I think once I have it at that point, I will want to put it down for good. I won't see a need because I'll have like 500, 600 Germanics between both periods. And that'll be pretty good for any type of wargaming I want to do. And if I do some massive, huge convention game again with Germanics and Romans, which is quite possible. I could always add to it, but the core will be there. I'll have a really solid core. So that pretty much wraps up what I did this week and the plans for the Germans. For the Romans, now I painted more Romans than I did Germanics for the convention game, and I still want to paint another 100 more Romans as well. So I don't have any artillery, so I'd like to paint 3 or 4 artillery pieces / units. I would like to do 2 more units of cavalry, so that's 24 right there. And then I would really like to do at least another unit of another 40-man unit of a legion, or 2, or just 1 40-man legion and a unit of auxilia. So, you're looking at, 72 to 100 miniatures, depending if I want to do 2 legions or a legion and an auxilia. So, 100 to 150 more figures for the Romans. So not a small force either. Most people would consider that an army, but I already got about just under 400 Romans, I believe, painted. So I think if I get it to 500, it'll look really good, and I won't want to touch it a lot. There's some key, like I said, the artillery's missing. I need some more cavalry because late Roman armies were pretty cavalry heavy due to the threats they were facing from the east. And then I want to have some units that represent some of the later Roman civil wars, Fritigus River in particular, against, where I can have some units that are clearly on Theodosia's side that have, the Cairo and all that stuff on the shields, because I don't have any unit to have Cairos on their shields. And that was done on purpose for this project. But I feel like if I'm going to do later period or even like the Justinian period, I need to have Cairos on the shield. So I want to incorporate a couple units like that into the army. And I think it'll be at a really good place. It's not in a bad place now, but I think that would put it where it needs to be. So that's easily 6 months worth of work I just described. I just described 300 miniatures, worth of painting, 200 to 300. So that's a good little chunk of painting. I have, as far as what I have collected, I have the cavalry for the early, I have the last warband for the early Germanics, I have 1 of the unarmored warbands for the Goths / Saxons. It'll be a Vitrix unit, a mix of the early Saxons and unarmored Romans that have the Gothic heads that you can put on them. So I'll mix those into to make another early unit. And then I'll have to buy more Germanics because I'm out. I'll probably do a footsore order at some point to finish filling those out. And then for the Romans, I don't have any of the cavalry, but I have most of the infantry collected that I can make work. So not a whole lot I need to buy to finish everything out, but there's a little bit there I need to buy. So we'll get it there. And then after that, I plan on going hard into Greeks and Etruscans, late Archaic, early Classical period. So somebody guessed correctly. I think it was JVC Paints. He correctly guessed that it would involve. He said something on Sicily, and he said Greeks on Sicily. And yes, you're correct. I think in 2026, the same group who put on Strasbourg at Historicon, we want to do Greco-Punic Wars. So the Wars of Sicily. I think that'd be really cool. I mean, I think we're leaning more towards the early period just because the Punic armies had more Punic forces in them at the early period. It's because of the Greco-Punic Wars that Carthage stopped using a lot of citizens in its army because they got decimated. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan there. And I have all of the Greeks, guys. I don't even know. I counted them all up. I think it was over 500 collected between Vitrix, Thistle and Rose, all of Foundry, just so much Greeks. I can't even, it's mind-boggling how many Greeks I have in various boxes. And I have like 300 Etruscans from the Agema Kickstarter, Gorgon miniatures. So like, I have so much, from Aventine. I have so much, it's crazy. So we're going to get painting on that eventually. That's July of 2026. So that's down the road. So we got time for that, and that's going to be another. That's going to be another 600 miniature commitment for that project. So that'll be quite the sight. I think we will outdo ourselves, even what we brought to Strasbourg for that, to be honest, because we have way more time to paint for it, and all three of us are going to be equally painting for it. So each of us are going to bring like 800 miniatures, you know, 600 to 800 miniatures. So if we bring, we'll just say on average 700, that's 2,100 right there. So to possibly 2,500. So that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, that's all I got going on. Sorry for the, you know, for the lack of videos, but I had to give myself a mental break after the big convention. I don't think I'm going to go back to painting 100 figures a month. I think I would like to do 50 a month. Obviously, I only did 24 for the last 2 months. So it'd be nice if I could get back to like maybe 36, maybe 50. That would be nice. But yeah, so we're getting back into the swing of things. I'm now motivated to paint some of these Germans. I'll kind of show them off here. Some interesting figures. So this is the main command stand here. Yep, and you can see there, I usually paint the chieftains. Most of the chieftains are in gray hair, you know, grandpa type deals there, but there's a guy with the lamellar. You can see the different standard bearers. We got a Draco, we got a severed head deal there, we got a musician, we got a character figure wiping his sword off of a dead Roman. So that's pretty cool. One of these did not stay glued down, okay. And then more character figure, a guy getting stabbed in the back with a dagger. That one spoke to me. But once again, the chieftain in the middle with the gray hair. And like I was telling you with the helmets, you know, a lot more later Germanic, Saxon inspired stuff there. But like I said, a little bit of everything on the armors. So these are the nobles. These are the nobles and their retainers. So this is the shock element of the late army. It was a shame I could not get him in time for Strasbourg. Another grandpa there. He has the fur cloak, the animal skin there. All the shield transfers are from Little Big Man Studios. Per normal, I only hand painted, I think, 3 of the shields for this army. You can see one of them there in the corner there, that red one. But yeah, use shield transfers on this one. There are a few repeat figures in here, but I don't like a lot of repeats, so I try to get as different amount of figures as I can into it. But like I said, mostly gripping beasts. All the guys with the axes are Crusader, but I think they fit in nicely. So slightly chunkier. I like that figure a lot. The guy with the sit-and-hoe helmet there, and he has the arm guards and the greaves. He's just chomped out of his damn mind there. He's like uber rich. He's like freaking Elon Musk of the ancient German, of the Saxons, of the early Saxons and shit. Yep, and that's the last stand there. So, and the leader here, I actually did this leader with red hair. So he did not get gray hair, unlike all the other ones, but you see there, he's off to the side signaling, preparing his men for battle before they charge into the Roman lines. So yeah, that's everything. Just a little 15-minute update for me, nothing crazy. Hopefully next month there'll be another update with another unit like this in front of you. So until then, guys, keep on painting.